Hey family, how you doing? It is your girl, Dr. Shonna, and I am here live for Mental Health Fridays. If only you guys knew what I had to go through tonight to get started. So let me just give you guys a disclaimer because I don't want you guys to discover this and be like, what's going on with Doc's computer? First of all, I had to use my work desktop, which is a little bit slower than my other computer. So you might have some lags. We're not going to blame it on Facebook today because I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good today, not Facebook. We're not going to blame it on YouTube today because I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good. So we know it ain't going to be no YouTube. But I do have some lagging based off of the computer that I'm using. My laptop was just giving me some issues and some problems. So I did not do that. The second disclaimer I'm going to have today is when I play the videos, I'm going to give you guys 3 different videos today. When I play the videos today, there might be a lag with that too. So don't let that frustrate you, family. I just say stay connected, stay involved. If anything goes wrong, you know I'm going to come back live. So don't run away, don't disappear. We're going to try this. And last but not, somebody said, Lord, already with the explaining. You already know how we do. We got to do the explaining. We got to do the explaining because some things just ain't right. I don't mind if people say things about me. Look, Rich D's, we got to do the explaining tonight, baby. And the other thing I want to say is shout out to all my Facebook community. Shout out to you guys. You guys are doing all right. I love my YouTube community. No shade to the Facebook people. I just absolutely love my YouTube community. But listen, guys, let's go ahead and get started. Share the video. If you are on YouTube, it costs you guys absolutely nothing. I love all the donations. I love all the support. I love all the people joining the channel, like such as my queen mother right here. Everyone say hi to my mama. This is my queen mother right here, my spiritual mom, Queen Hanifa. Give her a fat shout out. She's also a member to the channel. We also have here young elder who is also a member of the channel. So shout out to all of you guys. I love my YouTube community. If you guys are not following me on Instagram, I suggest you go over to Instagram because it's all about relationships. I do understand that some of you guys just want to hear about relationships, but that's not what my YouTube or my Facebook community is about. This is about us being critical thought leaders and for us to get ourselves together in our community. So tonight, once again, this is going to be one of those shows where y'all need to put on your Teflon shield because some people might get in their bag. I'm just want y'all to know your feelings might get hurt, and that's okay, right? Because we're here to grow and to do better. But most importantly, we're here to think. We don't all have to agree with each other, but we have to at least have the conversation. We don't have to agree with each other. Y'all don't have to agree with me. But let's really examine some of the things that are going to be said, and let's at least have the conversation. So go ahead to my YouTube family, hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications bell so you can know when I am going live. And make sure, last but not least, you give the video a thumbs up. To my Facebook family, go ahead and hit the like and the follow. My following is doing well. The following, we almost at 15,000 followers on Facebook, but I need you guys to get the likes up, right? So you have to make sure not only just hit the page for the follow, but you have to also hit the like. Engage. I'm going to be putting some questions up here. And to all that keeps asking me about how to donate, you can donate one or two. Well, you can donate a number of ways. If you're on YouTube, you know all the ways you can donate. If you are on Facebook, just go ahead to CashApp, Dr. Shonna, DRSHONNA, or Venmo, Dr. Shonna. So we already see it. Dakisha Harrison is already talking about we should absolutely shame Gorilla Glue Girl. So let's go ahead and get this conversation started. I don't want nobody coming on here late asking me, Doc, what are we talking about tonight? Because I got a little bit strategic and I put what we're talking about up here, right? So we're talking about Gorilla Glue Girl. We're talking about Tokyo, China. And last but not least, I'm going to break down personality disorders. We're going to be talking about where bipolar, narcissist, and borderline. This is Mental Health Fridays. So before all of y'all get in your bag and go running away when I start breaking down the mental health disorders, I don't want you guys to get upset because some of y'all fall right there. What's that category? Some of y'all fall right here, bipolar, narcissism, or borderline, right? This is not to shame the mental health community, but we need to know what is going on so we can go ahead and get the help. So let's go ahead and talk about Gorilla Glue Girl. In a nutshell, first of all, we want to say hello to Tessica Brown. That is her name. I know the media, the internet has coined her Gorilla Glue Girl because we are horrible, horrible as a nation of people. We shame people. We coin them all different types of names. And I already see you guys already down for it. All of you guys are saying that good for her. She should have known better. What the hell she putting glue on her hair? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm not going to say that you guys are not correct to some aspects, but I really want us to examine this on more than one level. First of all, before I get into the story of Gorilla Glue Girl, I want to be able to say this to you all. Black women, do y'all hear me? Black women, we can easily shame Gorilla Glue Girl, a.k.a. Tessica Brown. We can easily shame her. But the truth be told, I know you're not going to like this. I know you're not going to like this, right? But the truth be told, some of you guys, Black women, right? Some of you guys go to the extremes when it comes to your hair. Shout out to Sid for that donation. He said her friend meant to tell her Gorilla Snot Mocos for her hair. She said Gorilla Glue on accident. And that might be the case. But here's what I want to say, and I know that some of y'all are going to be in your bag with this. We got to really understand. Listen, I'm not making excuses for Gorilla Glue Girl. I'm not making excuses for her, but we got to really understand what is happening here. Just like Def Rocker said. Def Rocker saying, I don't think it's okay to ridicule the girl. I think it's mostly part of self-hate consciously. And this is a conversation. Come on, let's talk about it, family. This is a conversation that a lot of Black women do not like having. And every time we bring up this conversation, someone always comes out and says, you know what? Everybody wears fake hair. Everybody wears fake eyes. Everyone wears fake lashes. Everybody is fake. Everybody is fake. We always make this discussion. And I'm not saying that these things are not true. I'm not saying that, we are the only people that wear fake hair. But we got to be honest, family. We are the only people who have made other people rich off of the fact that we don't like our hair. Oh, y'all not ready for this conversation. I know it. Y'all not ready for this conversation, but we're going to have this conversation. We make other people rich off of our hair. We are quick to buy wigs. We are quick to buy weaves. We will burn our hair with all types of relaxers. We will cause traction, or what they call traction alopecia, in our hair from wearing extensions. Too tight, we put extensions in our babies' hairs. We put extensions in our hair. We put extensions in the elderly hair. We have a hard time doing our hair. And there's something sick about the fact that we would do YouTube video after YouTube video out of all these things that we can do with our hair, even people discovering different things in order for us to lay our edges. We have product after product after product out there about laying our edges because we have unique hair. I know people don't want to talk about this, but if we don't really start to have this conversation about how we are with our hair and the root cause of our hair, we're really really not going to understand why Tessa Brown put herself in that position. First of all, laying your edges. After YouTube videos, there are tutorials galore on YouTube with women, especially Black women, doing 101 different tricks in order for them to lay their edges so their edges can lay as flat as Gorilla Glue Girl's hair. We have tutorials. People use the different products. Let me tell you something. You can go under anybody's sink who is a Black woman and see tons and tons and tons and tons of hair care products in order for them to manage their hair. And we have to ask ourselves, where did this drive, where did this craving, where did this desire come from for us to have our hair as bone straight as possible? Where did this desire come to take all the kink out of our hair in order for us to have hair that looks like everybody else? Stringy, thin, wavy, curly, extremely long. And I'm not saying that some Black people do not have these textures, but you know, for the most part, when you see a lot of us express ourselves and all of our natural beauty, we can have a whole bunch of hair, but when we wear it in our natural state, the kinkiness is real. I don't know about you ladies, but in my natural state, I have a 90% shrinkage when it comes to my hair. I don't know about you ladies, but for some reason, before I started to love every aspect of me, for some reason, ladies, I don't know about you all, but I spent hours on YouTube watching tutorials and seeing different things to lay my edges. I went to the beauty supply store and I tried so many different products in order to lay my edges straight. And I don't know what the fascination was with me to have my edges straight, other than the fact that I watched so much propaganda pumping into my mind as to how my hair ought to be. Furthermore, Furthermore, let's not even forget about the fact that we, brothers and sisters, we make fun of other people in their natural states. We call them kinky, we call them nappy, we call their kitchen area BDB. We make fun. This has been made fun of on Martin. This has been in almost every damn joke back in the 90s, and still men to this day, not all, not all, but still men and women to this day make fun of women who wear their hair in its natural state, whether she chooses to put product in it or she chooses to wear it just in an afro. We see the commentary. But why is it that we're so fascinated with our edges being slicked down? Why is it that we're so fascinated with wavy hair appearing as though it's coming out of our scalp? Why is it we're so fascinated with curly hair, our hair all the way down our butt, our bone straight hair? Why are we so fascinated with blonde hair and all these other colors? Why are we so fascinated with our hair? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. We all like to pretend that our mind is not conditioned by white supremacy. We all like to pretend that we have the greatest self esteem on earth. We all like to pretend that the commentary from not only our community, but other communities that call us names like nappy bitches and everything else. We all like to pretend like it doesn't phase us and we're just so happy with our natural hair where deep down inside of us, we're not. I remember when I first locked my hair and I went to my grandmother's house. And 1 minute she said that she liked my locks. And 1 minute she says, well, I really don't like locks because they just don't look clean to me. But your locks look nice. And then as they started to grow and come down and fall, she said to me, why are you wearing that stuff in your hair? Ain't nobody gonna hire you with your hair like that. Oh, you must want to be unemployed. Forgetting the fact that I work for myself. But she has said this to me because she has in her head, from her conditioning, from her upbringing, having been born in the early 20s, the 1920s, she has in her condition, in her upbringing, that kinky hair is not acceptable. But it's not acceptable to who? Who first was displeased with our hair? So much so that we turned around and made a lot of Asian people pretty damn rich off of us by buying their hair. So when I look at Gorilla Girl, I know some of us don't want to talk about this conversation, but we have to have this conversation. When I look at her, and I'm about to show you the video, my heart honestly goes out to Tessica Brown. My heart is really with her because she's right. We don't know her. Like you're gonna see in her video, she says we're E Entertainment Television, right? We don't know her. And we're coining her all types of names and making fun of her. We're saying things to her. I understand that. But one, maybe somebody in my position, I don't know. But one has to look at this issue from a critical lens. We have to look at everything that's being presented to us, from the eyelashes to the gray contacts to the long weave ponytail to the hair laid for days, for weeks, for months. We have to be able to look at all of this and ask ourselves, what is at the root of this? Is this really a fashion trend? And if so, why are we the ones that everyone is getting rich off of? This is not about saying, oh, she was stupid for doing that. This is not about saying, why didn't she freaking read the label? Why the hell would she put glue in her head? I know it's easy for all of us to say that in hindsight, being 2020, but how many of our young girls, our young daughters, how many of them would be exactly what Tessica Brown is? Someone who wanted her hair to be laid, her edges to be slayed, somebody who wanted to have that sleek look, somebody who wants lashes that look like this. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm just, come on. I know y'all in your bag, but I don't, at this point, really, family, it's not that I don't care, but how can we really move forward when we're not having these honest conversations? I know we don't want to talk about the gray contacts, but seriously, family, how can we seriously move forward in our community? How can we fix all the psychological damage that has been done to us? How can we fix it if we're not willing to address these issues? We got people, young people doing challenges. We got young people spreading information that's not correct. We got young people doing all types of stupid things because they're trying to live up to a standard of beauty that has been put out for propaganda reasons and by the dominant culture. And we're trying to live up, and we're more focused on her being silly or not being smart because she didn't read the label than we are really asking ourselves a deeper question. Why? Not why she wanted her edges slayed, but why is it so important that your hair looks so slick and so thin and so straight and so unlike your natural hair that comes out your scalp? Why is it that we're so fascinated and addicted to this hair? Somebody said that they're doing it right now. Somebody said they're doing it right now. Gorilla Glue Challenge going around. Unbelievable. 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 But this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. Somebody says the Kardashian look. That's what it is? The Kardashian look? Thank you so much for that, Q Butter. That's my brother right there. That's Q Butter is my brother. He get on my nerves sometime, but Q is my brother right there. Thank you for that donation. Right? So why is it that this is going on? Why? Why is it that we're so fascinated? We're giving our money to this industry. Why? And I'm not trying to be funny by asking this question, but I think that we have to really examine it. See, somebody say this is too easy. This is too easy of a response, right? And the reason why I say it's too easy of a response, and this is no shade to Chocolate Siren, right? Too easy of a response because we're not really exploring it in more critical thought. To say because it's a personal choice. See, let me say something here, family. Let me say something here, family. Yes, it's a personal choice. It's a personal choice. Yes, right? Everything's a personal choice. But let's not pretend that the choices that we make are not influenced by a factor outside of ourselves. Even with the fact that I got locks in my hair, it is influenced by a factor outside of myself. Yes, I made a choice to get locks in my hair. Yes, I made a choice to get sister locks, to be specific. Those things were choices, but we have to really be honest. To say that is as though we want to deflect and we don't really want to deal with the fact. Let me speak about myself, okay? I've wore the units, aka the wigs. I've wore the weaves, aka the sew-ins. I've wore it all. I've spent hundreds of dollars on my hair. If you guys have seen previous videos, I've showed you at least one of my units that is still intact, and that unit is about 5 years old. I showed you guys how dope that unit is and how much it looks like it comes straight out of your scalp. I showed you guys that, so I'm not unfamiliar with the process. But we have to really, really, really examine, is it really a personal choice or has it been influenced? Because when it all boils down to the fact, when I made a conscious decision to stop spending my money on this hair, to stop contributing to an industry that makes billions, not millions, billions of dollars off of our community. When I say, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore, because this is not me having a favorite car and buying a favorite car because A, I can afford to do so, and B, I want it, and ain't nothing like a luxury ride. This is not what that is about, because I still save my money and I still have stocks. I still have all these other stuff going on. So me buying that car ain't no big deal. This is not about buying a vehicle. This is about me altering a look because I'm not happy and pleased with the look. This is about when you take off that unit and then you have to tussle or wrestle with your hair, feeling like you don't want to go through it. Even the fact that I got locks in my hair, yes, that was a personal choice, but it was a choice that was influenced by outside factors. It was a choice that said, how do I do less with my hair? I'm tired of waking up. I'm tired of having to do this hair constantly. I'm tired of me washing my hair, literally taking 2 hours in order for me to get it to how I want it to look. I'm tired of that process. I just want to wake up and go. I don't want to put that much effort into my hair. I just want to go. I don't want to do it. It's either I'm going to lock it, I'm going to cut it off because I'm tired of doing my hair. So I locked it, right? I locked it. And even though I know for some, locks are not the choice, you know, locks is not a preference for a lot of people, but it was a preference for me. But even that preference was influenced. So what is it about me that I just couldn't deal with my natural hair in its natural state? And this is the conversation that too many of us are not having. What is it that makes it challenging for you to deal with the hair that has grown out of your hair to be coily. What is it? And this is what I mean when I say we have to get to the bottom of it. If you hate your hair, that is a process or a part of self-hate. Q butter stupid. Q, you so stupid. He said, I'm tired of getting food. Right? Somebody says, that's why I used to wear wigs and I still will. Hair done in 10 seconds. Yes. So again, it's about convenience. We don't want to do our hair. So why is it? What I'm saying to you is why is it is us for the most part. I'm not saying there aren't some people in other ethnicities or other culture that go through similar things. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying $1 billion industry lies on our backs and in our pockets because we don't want to do our hair. Because we don't want to do our hair. Somebody's saying buy gorilla stock. Listen, me and my boo already try to buy gorilla stock. They don't have an IPO. Because you better believe I got on it. And why do you think I went on it? Why we was like all night looking for the IPO? We're like, babe, let's get this stock. Why do you think we was doing that? Because unfortunately, there's going to be more Tessica Browns. Unfortunately, there's going to be people that's going to experience. We got natural born chemists in our bloodline. There's going to be people that's going to be experimenting with put a little bit of this and put some olive oil and put some this and put some coconut oil and put some that and stir it all together and look at that. It's like listen, we already know what we're going to do. Right? We already know what some people are going to do. So let's go ahead and look at one of her videos. Right? Let's look at what somebody says. Oh my God, as a man, I don't understand. I'm glad you said that. Before we look at a video, let me examine what he's saying. What he says here, this is James Swink. He said, oh my God, as a man, I don't understand. And this is so very real, family. This is so very real what he is saying. And let me tell you why. I'm doing a pilot program and I'm speaking to countless Black men when it comes to relationships and dating. And you know what they tell me? They prefer a woman who is natural. They prefer a woman who don't have lashes, a woman who is not wearing eyes outside of her color, a woman who is not wearing weaves, a woman who's not wearing wigs, a woman who don't have stringy hair. They prefer someone who is natural. I got more men admitting to someone being natural than I do men wanting women that looks like something else. But even when we tell sisters this, for some, it's just not enough. For some, they don't believe it because when they look in the mirror in their natural state, they're not pleased with what they see. They're not pleased with what they see. And there's going to be so many women, especially the weave wearers and the wig wearers and the perm wearers and the relaxer wearers, they're going to be the ones that's in denial. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Because I was there. Right? I'm like Lauryn Hill. I can only tell you because I've been there already. Right? I can tell you because I've been there. It's nothing like taking out your weave, your sewing, or your unit getting wore down, and you know you need a new unit, but it's not coming in time, and you can't take it off your hair, even though you know it doesn't look to par, but you don't want to take it off your hair, off your head, because you don't want to contend with how it looks without your wig on or without your weave on. This is a big business right here. And we have so many women that would go to lengths. They would take out their weave and then realize that the beautician don't have an appointment for them. They All right, family. I'm back. I'm back. All right, I'm back. There's so many women, as I was stating, that would take out their weave too quickly. Their appointment is not being honored, or they can't get into their beautician, and they'll go straight into the beauty supply store, purchase a cheap little wig or some type of fake hair, and put it on because they don't want to look at their natural hair. But we don't want to face this issue. We don't want to deal with it. We don't want to turn around and say, you know something, that's me. We don't want to say, okay, granted, I don't like when I take off my wig. I don't like when I take out my weave. I don't like when I take out my braids because I really don't like the way I look. I like to see hair really flowing down my back. I like to see my hair curly as opposed to kinky. Yeah, I like to see longer hair as opposed to shorter hair. I like to see hair that looks like I got edges instead of my edges that are thinning. I like to see thick hair as opposed to thin hair. We don't really say this out loud or honestly. I'm just saying. So let's see what Gorilla Tessica Brown. I'm about to say Gorilla Glue Girl. Somebody says, to be honest, they want to look like white girls. Why? See, Monica, listen, like I said before, Monica, I used to be a weave wearer and a wig wearer. And it never was a white girl I wanted to look like. So I don't think that a lot of people who wear weaves or wigs, I don't think they're saying to themselves, I want to look like a white girl. I don't think that's what they're saying. I think it's A, for a lot of people, it's convenience. That's number one, convenience. Number two, I think that their mind is conditioned. I don't think they actively give thought that they want to look like a white girl. You know, I think their mind is conditioned to the standards of beauty that America or the dominant society has says is acceptable, right? And so we as a community have made a lot of these looks very popular. So we start to condition and train each other's minds as to saying the stringy hair or the curly hair that don't look like your curls, that's what's more popular. This is what you want to really look like. And it's not that we're saying you want to look like white, but if we examine beneath it, or how did we get there? We got there because as we was coming out of slavery, our hero. We got there because when we was coming out of slavery and we started to enter into the marketplace or enter into the workforce, people did not like our kinky hair. So in our own community, let's go back to Madam C.J. Walker. In our own community, we started to get really fancy. We got fly. And we started to find ways of straightening our hair so that when we go on these job interviews, we will present more acceptable and get hired because they didn't have to look at our hair that they consider was messy. So it is, yes, at the root of it. At the root of it, we wanted to get our hair more tamed or more close to white people's hair, not because we wanted to look like white people, but because we wanted to be hired. So now you fast forward 60, 70, 80, 100 years out the game. Now you fast forward, the people of this generation, they're not going into it thinking about the history. They're not saying, I got to look like this because I got to look white. They're not saying that at all. It has become fashionable. It has become capitalism. It has become a way of showing beauty because what we see on television, not just white television, but black television as well. When we look at people, black people on television, they look as close to white, but we're not saying I want to look as close to white. We're saying we want to look like the black people on TV that looks as close to white. But Mona, that's just my opinion, right? That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong. women are waking up and saying that they want to be white. I don't think that's the case. I think that we have helped white supremacy. And I hate to say it, but I got to be honest. I think that there's so many of us that perpetuate the system of white supremacy, and everything that system says society ought to look and operate. We perpetuate it. Right? This is what happens. So let's go ahead and watch this video. How am I doing with the video, guys? Is it lagging? What's happening, family? Because on my side is doing all types of things. Right? Is it lagging? Right? I want to be able to hear from you guys. How's the video going before I go ahead on to playing the video? Okay, good. Somebody's saying it's lagging, but a lot of other people saying it's good. All right, so let's go ahead and play this video. All right. Because on my side, this computer look really crazy. I got to, listen, my laptop needs to be done. So Sheila is saying, you would get the job with natural hair. They're also saying to our children how they want their hair in schools. Oh, you would not get the job with natural hair. And they're also saying to our children how they want to see our children's hair in school. And so, yes, Sheila, you are absolutely right. But don't you think, and maybe it's not a, but don't you think, I'm just going to tell you what I think, Sheila. If we continuously give into the system of white supremacy, then when do we ever get free? When do we ever say, no, I'm going to wear my hair how I want to wear my hair? No, my children are going to wear their hair how they want to wear their hair. Oh, if you don't want us out here to look like that, okay, we're just going to remove ourselves. When do we say that? Like, that's what real empowerment looks like. That's what real empowerment looks like, when we're able to remove ourselves from it and say, it's okay. You don't got to accept us. You don't got to think our hair is beautiful, and we don't have to send our children here, and we don't have to work here. When do we say these kind of things? And that's the problem that I have so much with our community. We don't take the time to say, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to step aside. I will educate my own children. I will create my own revenue streams. And listen, maybe that's fantastical thinking for some of you guys. It's not fantastical for me, because I've decided to do that. And that has been the most empowering thing that I've ever done in my life. The whole conversation in my household is different. If I had my cell phone, as a matter of fact, I'm going to screenshot them, crop them, and I'm going to put them on my Facebook page. And I'm going to show you what kind of conversations I wake up to with my children. I'm going to show you guys how much us saying, no white supremacy. You can have your own space. We'll have our own space, and we're going to remove ourselves. I'm going to show you what that has done for the mind of my children. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you stuff that I've never done as a child. I've never woke up like, mama, I made $300 on the stocks today. Never did I wake up and say that to my mother. My mother didn't even know anything about no goddamn stocks. She only knew that while watching the news, they would say the Dow was up, the Dow was down, right? The New York Stock Exchange was X, Y, and Z, but she ain't know nothing about it. But my children do. We got to separate it. So listen, I was going to play Gorilla Glue's videos, but I think all of you guys know who she is. I'm going to go over to, let me see, her right here, Tokyo Toni, because I seen somebody say, who's Tokyo Toni? I coined her, a.k.a. Toxic Toni. I'm going to play that video so that I can introduce you guys to who she is. I'm not going to play Tessica Brown, because you know what? We already spent 40 minutes on her. That was way too long. and we can go ahead and move forward. As for Tokyo Toni, let me tell you guys who Tokyo Toni is. Y'all know who Black China is, correct? I hope y'all know who Black China is. For some of you guys who do not know who Black China is, I don't really follow this industry. So if I get it wrong, you guys forgive me. Forgive me. Just politely tell me that I got it wrong. Don't get all crazy because you know when y'all get crazy, I turn up. So don't do that. But Black China, I believe, is a model. I believe, right? Is a model, and she has a child with Rob Kardashian, the brother of Chloe and whatever the other popular Kardashian is that's married to Kanye West, Kim Kardashian. She has a child with him. Tokyo Toni is her mother. Now, I didn't know much about Black China other than the fact that when she was in the news, when she was in the media about all the drama that was going on with her and Rob Kardashian about their child and allegations that was made about her being an unfit mother, that's what she came into my radar. Oh, somebody's saying that she is a stripper. Okay. All right. So she's a stripper. Sorry. Somebody say not. Okay. Now somebody else is saying former stripper turned IG model named Angela White. Okay. All right. So I stand corrected. She was a former stripper, and now she's a Instagram model. And somebody else is saying she has a sex tape. She's one of these women. Listen, one of these women. And her mama was just like her, right? To my understanding, from this lady's own admission in a long video that she had with Unwind with Tasha K. And if you guys don't know who Tasha K is, I suggest you go to YouTube, watch Tasha K's channel. She has over 800,000 subscribers, and she's pretty much like a gossiper, or she brings news in the celebrity industry. She's not like a Wendy Williams, but she's like a Wendy Williams to some degree, right? So somebody says Tasha K is messy. I don't really know anything about her. I don't watch her show. I know of her show because of you guys. Somebody sent me an inbox and told me to watch the video, and I'm going to play for you guys this video. But the reason why I'm bringing up Tokyo Toni is because, again, this is Mental Health Fridays community. This is Mental Health Friday. So again, don't y'all go get in your bag because we're going to have these conversations, right? Even if it's you and you get triggered, you don't have to get on the feed and start cussing people out and saying how you disagree, because then everyone's going to know that you are an AKA Toxic Toni. Everybody's going to know that. So, you could just step back and, hide your face behind your phone. No one's going to see you. No one's going to know that you're toxic unless you come out and you start saying toxic things. Then everybody in our community is going to know that you're toxic as well. Okay? But the reason why I bring it up is because, unfortunately, there's a lot of mothers like Tokyo Toni. And I want you guys to really understand these three disorders I'm going to go over, right? We're talking about bipolar, narcissism, and borderline. I want you guys to really understand these three disorders so that you can understand what you're looking at. And not only can you understand what you're looking at, if you are able to be honest with yourself and see yourself and what you're about to see, and recognize that you too show up like Tokyo Toni, then maybe you can start the process of therapy so you can help yourself work through these issues, because this is what toxic looks like, and this is what toxic relationships do to generations. And this is why China is like her mother, and unfortunately, if they both don't get the help that they need, the child is going to be like them too. So let's really talk about it. This is Mental Health Fridays. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to show you guys some things, and we're here to talk about it. So let me go ahead and bring up this video so y'all can see what I see. Now, you know y'all gotta be patient with me because on my end, this computer moves way too slow, which sucks galore. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now I'm gonna play it from a point, and I'm gonna play for some time. So I need you guys to just be patient with me because I'm gonna play some of it. I'm gonna forward some of it, right? So you guys can get the gist of what I'm saying. Then we're gonna go right into knowing the difference between these disorders, and then that's gonna be the whole show. Okay, so just be patient with me. All right, family.
You see the dog, you see us running, you see a whole bunch of wonderful things. See, but when they are,
Oh
excuse
man.
me,
Do you feel like China, the reason y'all have such a, y'all are, I guess, at wits is
it's the
because,
devil. It's the devil.
or maybe y'all are just alike.
No, we're nothing alike. She mimicked me, just like Nicki Minaj did, just like Cardi B and any motherfucking else did. Mimic me, okay? But it's only one of me. Let's try that on
Well,
the back.
there's two of you because China is your baby. And
No, it's one of
I would look at it as
it's
flattery.
one
Like,
of me and it's one of her, in which we're two individuals on two different, not of love, but of every day.
are
Okay?
you proud of your daughter for everything that she's accomplished?
No, I'm not. I'm saddened by it because I know why she received it. She could have received things without doing the things she's done by hurting people, by hurting her nannies, by hurting her friends, by embarrassing her family, by hurting her mother. So to accomplish all of these things and to have all that put on the line, no, I'm not. But on the other side of it, I'm very proud that she has the things that she don't have, bro, that she don't have to sell ass, that she ain't got to go strip. So on that tip, oh, I'm mama proud, baby.
But
Mama.
how do you think that makes her feel?
Oh darn it. Oh darn it. This is terrible. Oh darn it. All right, family. Look. I don't know what's the stop it right there for a second because a second, family. And hopefully I can go back to see this video. Just go ahead to YouTube, put Tokyo Toni, Tasha K, and it's gonna come up. And y'all can go ahead and watch it. I was really hoping that I was going to be able to show you guys, but this old computer of mine is not going to be able to get over it. It's not going to be able to get it. So I do apologize. Sunday I'll be using my laptop because my laptop was updating and I didn't want to keep you guys waiting. But here's what I'm going to say. Somebody said, "Oh, more she got more facial work done." Here's what I'm going to say about her mother. And what's so ironic, just give me a second while I pause for just a second. What's so ironic is just like with the Tessica Brown conversation we was having, you see the lashes, you see the hair, it's all over. It's solo. Everyone is trying to acquire this look. And I don't know what that look is. It's bizarre. But here's the thing that happened. This lady was saying how she is not proud of her daughter, Black China. She was saying that her daughter has been mean to people. She was saying that she's proud that she's not a stripper anymore, but she's not happy with her daughter. She got mad that her daughter, with all of her daughter's success, that she didn't financially help her mother out. This lady has been married 5 times to 4 different guys. I think she married one of her husbands twice, and she's been married to 4 different guys in total 5 times. This woman went off at the end of this video. When I say off at the end of the video, that's what I really wanted to play for you guys, but it's okay. She went off at the end of the video. And can I just tell you, when she went off like a 45-day alarm clock, she cussed her daughter out so bad. You just heard, for the most part, her daughter just like not saying much of anything. And the mom is making up all these things that her daughter allegedly was saying, even though it wasn't said. The stuff that the mother was saying her daughter said, she's playing the tape, and it's not what has been heard. And when Tasha K went to go address her on the tape and point out to her what she's saying is not true, and Tasha K went to go repeat what was said over the tape, she cursed out Tasha K. She cursed her out so bad and got off of the video. This lady went bananas. Now, I bring this up because I'm about to get into these disorders, but I bring this up because, okay, maybe it's none of us watching this. Out of the 630 people watching, maybe it's none of us watching this. But I will tell you this. I will tell you this, that at least one of us knows somebody like that. Maybe in our family, maybe a friend, maybe a relative, maybe a neighbor. We know somebody like that. And the amount of toxicity that exists between this relationship, you got to really understand that this is a mental health problem. You got to understand, when a mother can speak about her daughter with such filth and derogatory language like this woman, it is a mental health problem. And here's the thing. We tend to try to argue with people like this. We tend to try to ration with people like this. You cannot argue or ration with a woman like this. And some of us present just like her. So Tasha K has said that this lady is a narcissist. And I think she has narcissistic traits. Now, of course, I haven't interviewed her, right? Of course, I need to be able to interview her and perform some inventory tools in order for me to see what she's really working with. Of course, as a clinical social worker, I am with diagnosing powers. So of course I would have to interview her, but I wanted to bring out 3 different things I wanted you guys to look at, because when I was watching Tasha K's chat, some people were saying she's bipolar, some people were saying that she's borderline personality disorder, and some people were saying that she's narcissistic. Now, I think that this woman has narcissistic traits. Somebody can be a narcissist and not have the disorder, because you have to reach a certain amount of criteria in order for you to say that you have the disorder. So yes, are we seeing narcissistic traits? Are we seeing narcissism? Yeah, but is it the personality disorder? I would have to say I'm not too sure about that. But let's go over some of these things, and then we're going to get out of here. Somebody's saying, are just drunk. No, baby. That is not just drunk. And see, this is the reason why I want to have this conversation. There's so many men that I work with, and when they describe women that they date, when they describe girlfriends and the neurotic behavior that they're experiencing, the outbursts that they're experiencing, some of the stuff that's so bizarre and unrealistic, like what the hell, where did this come from? A lot of men go to try to seek understanding about the type of women that they are with, or the type of women that they keep attracting. And so what I find is there's 3 different types you're going to be running into. Usually men are more narcissistic than women, but it doesn't mean that women cannot be narcissists as well, because they can. So let's first go over bipolar. Got my little notes. First of all, you have to understand that bipolar is an unusual shift in moods, an unusual shift. We're all going to be moody, but we're talking about unusual, an unusual shift in moods, an unusual shift in energy, activity levels, unusual shift in concentration, unusual shift in the ability to carry out day-to-day tasks. So the moods can be extremely up, they can be elated, they can be irritable, they can be energized behavior, or in other words, manic, right? Because bipolar is what we used to call manic depression. And they just changed the word from manic depression to bipolar. So when somebody has energized behavior, extremely energized behavior, they're in a manic state. And then it can be very downward behavior, sadness, indifference, hopelessness, and that's the depressive state. So you have to understand when you see somebody who is bipolar, they have those two extremes. Sometimes one extreme is more prevalent than the other. It doesn't impact them as much, but that's what bipolar is being on the opposite ends of the pole. You can either be extremely happy or extremely sad. Bipolar. That's what that is, right? And there are three types from severe to least severe. You have bipolar 1, and I'm not going to get into the differences. You guys can look this up. You have bipolar 2, right? And bipolar 2 is less severe than bipolar 1, right? And then you have then you have cyclothymic, which is the third category, and that's least severe. It's not as bad as 1 and 2, right? So that's what you have to look. You have to look at all of those things. So a lot of guys are assuming that they're meeting a lot of women who are bipolar. And I'm not going to say that they're not, but one thing we do know is that in my field, when it comes to those of us who have diagnosing power, we might give somebody bipolar as a diagnosis, right? Because it may look like a mood. It may look like the mood is changing. But what I find when working with somebody for a longer period of time, what I find that most of them are not bipolar. They're borderline personality disorder. So let's get into what borderline personality disorder is. Somebody said, white girl crutch, I'm bipolar. Oh, that's what white girls say? They're bipolar? Well, let's get into what borderline personality disorder is. Now, borderline this personality disorder also have varying moods, right? The moods can change as well. But what's different between that is that they have patterns of self-image and behaviors, right? So it's the way they look at themselves and how they behave. So you want to look at their impulsive actions. You want to look at their extreme, underline this if you're writing it down, extreme problems in relationships, both real and imagined. What do I mean when I say real and imagined? Well, I want y'all to know. I want you to know this is Mental Health Friday. This is not a game, people. We got to really, really have this conversation. When you are dealing with somebody who is a borderline, they may believe that they are your friend. They may believe that they are your girlfriend. Y'all about to get married. They may believe these things, but these things may not be true. But if they believe it to be true, they're going to act and behave as though it's true. So you will meet some guys, well, I would meet, I'll just say not you, but I meet some guys in my clinical work that they're extremely like confused about what they're experiencing, and they can't shake the girls off of them or the type of women off of them who in her head, she has it set that she's in a relationship with you, even though a relationship was never discussed. There was never an agreement of exclusivity. There was never a conversation as monogamy. There was never a conversation of commitment. But in her head, she has it this way because it's very real to her. These are the people that have intense episodes of anger, intense episodes of depression, intense episodes of anxiety. This is not just like a mood like bipolar. We're talking about bipolar times 3. We're talking about, like, when I say intense, it is intense. The way they talk about relationships are intense. When they're sad, the way they express their sadness is intense. When they're anxious, the way they go about being anxious with all their worry, all their ruminating thoughts is intense. This is the kind of person that everything about them is intense. You following me? And not only is it intense, but their interests and their values can change like this. rather quickly. And it's all based on their self-perception, how they see themselves. The things that they value are extreme. Nothing about these people are not extreme. It's either it's all good or all bad. There is no in between. There is no gray. There is no middle ground. The opinions about people can change quickly. They can rock with you today and hate your ass tomorrow and let it be known publicly that they hate you tomorrow and leave you there like, what the hell did I do? Why is she being so dramatic? They are dramatic people. Many of their relationships are tense and unstable. And the reason why, for the most part, their relationships are intense and unstable is because they are trying to avoid abandonment, right? So they're going to express extreme likes or extreme dislikes. They're going to have distorted and unstable images of themselves. And if they feel like you might run away from them, you might judge them, you might leave them, they're going to leave you before you leave them. And their exit from the relationship is going to be extreme. So as this lady, Toni, is exited from her relationship with her daughter, she's making this big scene. You got to listen to her. You got to listen to how she starts crying and how she wanted all this great stuff as though her daughter betrayed her. You got to listen to it. It's the craziest conversation that she recorded herself. And she just wanted Tasha K to listen to it. And this lady is totally bizarre. And the poor daughter, now I don't know China, I ain't picking no sides, but the poor daughter, you can just hear that she's quiet for the most part. You can even hear some of her sarcasm coming through about her mother. And that just tells me that this woman, China, Black China, she is so used to the dysfunction in her mother. She is so used to the mental illness in her mother that she just got to the point where here she go again. And that's what happens. Unfortunately, a lot of these women have children. And a lot of these women, especially when they have daughters, raise their daughters with their mental illness untreated. So their daughters is learning pathology. They're learning how to operate like their mother, who is their first role model. And so relationships are intense all around them. And you can tell that she was so freaking tired of listening to her mother go off. You can tell that Black China was like, I'm done. I can't keep doing this. You can tell. And this is the kind of relationships that borderline personality disorder have with people, not only their family members, but everybody, right? They're very impulsive. They have dangerous behaviors, right? They'll have unsafe sex. They'll have spending sprees. They'll abuse substances. This is what they do. Changeable moves, but it's high and it's intense, right? They have their chronic feelings of emptiness, feeling all alone, intense anger, severe problems controlling their anger. And they have difficulty trusting others. Their fear is irrational. When they look at the intentions of other people, it's irrational. So this is much of what she was demonstrating. Now, did she have narcissistic traits? Absolutely. Absolutely. But this woman fears abandonment of her daughter because she went on to talk about how her daughter, just pretty much left her. Her daughter didn't bring her on. Her daughter didn't care about her. Her daughter's friends were more concerned about her than her own daughter was. That is her right there expressing, I'm fearing that you're not going to need me anymore. I'm fearing that you're going to leave me. You're not going to mess with me anymore. So this lady is acting out. And this is how a lot of borderline people are. They get very extreme with their relationships, especially if they fear abandonment. If they fear that you don't love them anymore, and it could be irrational. They never look at themselves as doing the most or doing too much because they don't even think that they have a disorder. And they think that this kind of behavior is normalized. So we see this so much in our community. We see so much of this where mothers are jealous and hateful toward their daughters, and their relationships are very extreme. They're calling each other bitches. They're cursing each other out. They want to fight everybody. They're irritable. They're angry. They go on and talk to everybody about their daughters, everybody about what's going on in their business. And we have normalized this kind of behavior, or at least ignored it. That's crazy. And so, yes, as I was seeing in Tasha K's feed, everyone is laughing at this lady. Everyone is calling her crazy. Everyone's like, yo, cut the interview short. She just wanted attention. Oh my God, she's jealous of her daughter. We're just talking about this as though this is just what they do. We're not even paying attention to the fact that this lady is sick. This lady is mentally sick. And we just had this whole conversation in the first half of the show talking about self-hatred. She even hates that about herself. She is fragile. Her esteem is so fragile. And that's why I said I don't think it's narcissism, even though she has narcissistic traits, but not that narcissistic people don't have fragile esteems. They do, but they boast with confidence. And they won't spend a lot of time talking about somebody else. They're going to spend more time talking about themselves. And in this interview, she spent a lot of time focusing on her relationship with her daughter and how she helped her daughter. And pretty much isn't about, oh, she is where she is because of me. It was really like, how are you abandoning me? How are you leaving me? I did all of this for you. How are you leaving me? Whereas a narcissist, even though they look very similar, if you really think about it, we're about to go over what narcissism is, and then I'm ending this live. Even though it looks very similar, a narcissist is going to spend a lot of time talking about themselves, baby. Themselves. Right? Yeah, Tawana's saying, Dr. Shonna, Black China mouth is reckless also. Absolutely. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. And so that's what I mean, Tawana, when I say, when you are raising a child with a mental illness and your mental illness is not managed, your children are going to mirror that behavior. They are more likely to mirror that behavior than they're not, right? Because that's all they're growing up in. That's all they're being conditioned. We are social beings. Children are social beings. We teach children how to be. She talked about how she taught her daughter how to be a stripper. We teach our children how to be. So when you're operating with a mental illness that's untreated, unmanaged, what do you think that experience is like for children being raised in a home with a parent who has a severe mental illness that's untreated? All right. What do you think that's like? See, I already know in my practice. Let me tell you something. When I was in schooling, and it was in my psychopathology class, we was asking the professor, I will never forget him, Dr. David Best, I will never forget him, out of Rutgers University. We was asking him about the clusters, right? The personality disorders, in which borderline is in one of those clusters, and so is narcissistic personality disorder. And he said, you want to know when you have a person that comes in your office with a personality disorder? Their very essence is going to annoy you like no other. You're going to feel like you're chasing your tail. You're going to know it. You're going to know when they walk through the door what you're dealing with. So when I saw Tasha K, not Tasha K, Tokyo Toni reminded me of the borderlines that have slipped through my office door, because I don't treat personality disorders. I used to work with it when I had no choice. But when I started understanding how to build a business and how to brand yourself and how to focus on a niche, I did just that. And that's why I just do relationships. When I first started out, I had no choice. And personality disorders used to drive me up the wall because they had intense relationships with everybody, including their therapists. Like if you didn't even say, wow, you look nice today. You wearing those shoes, girl. Oh my God. They don't want to work with you anymore. They're gonna fire you. They'll fire you today. And then 2 weeks later, come back like nothing happened and you're rehired again. It is a whole goddamn roller coaster. And that's what Toni reminded me of. A whole roller coaster. Right? So just imagine what her daughter grew up with those roller coasters of extreme emotions, all these men around her daughter, she even admitted that she was an escort, right? She admitted that when she was raising her daughter, she was an escort. Just imagine what that life was like for Black China, watching that every day. So I know many people in our community look at Black China and we're like, oh, she's a hot goddamn mess. But we're not understanding that she is that way because of her upbringing. And some of us in our community, hello, some of us have untreated mental illnesses, and our children are bearing the brunt of it. So when our children grow up to be dysfunctional, we got to accept some of that responsibility, right? Let's talk about narcissism. And then we out. I hope y'all still with me. I see we got 696 people so far. So I know you guys are with me. I hope you guys are good. Let's talk about narcissism. Narcissistic personality disorder. And of course, I'm only giving you guys snippets. If you guys ever want to read up more about borderline personality disorder or narcissistic personality disorder or any of the clusters, antisocial personality disorder, avoidant personality disorder, if you want to look up any of these disorders, you can go ahead, look up the DSM-5, read about it, break it down. There's a lot of articles online. There are many different personality disorders, but I pointed out these three. Well, these two personality disorder and one mood disorder, because bipolar is not a personality disorder. It is a mood disorder, right? We can often confuse somebody who is borderline as being bipolar because borderline also has that mood component there, but it's way deeper. You got to look at the intense relationships. Let's talk about narcissism. Narcissism is an inflated sense of self, right? It's inflated. They're so hung up on their own importance, whether their importance is real or imagined, right? So not everyone who is a narcissist is important in life. Not everyone who's a narcissist is doing great big things for themselves, but they have this perception that they are important. That's where the grandiose attitude comes in at, right? They have a deep need for excessive attention and excessive. Listen, the key word is excessive. A deep need for excessive attention and excessive admiration. I know a lot of women always talking about, oh, I think he was a narcissist, right? You ever had that guy that really needed you to admire everything about him? And he made it big. Everything that he did was big. And I'm saying he because mostly men are narcissists. Not that women can be, but mostly men would be narcissists, right? But they do everything. They got to have the biggest watch. They got to have the flyest car. They got to wear the flyest gear because they're looking for that attention every day. If they don't get that attention, they don't have a good day, right? It's very excessive. This is beyond, liking to get compliments. Oh, thank you. Or you put on that badass outfit and somebody say, girl, you killing it. You look good. This is beyond that. This is needing it in order for you to feel good about yourself. And narcissists also have troubled relationships, right? Not at the same level as borderline, but I would have to say it's a close match, right? They have troubled relationships as well. They lack empathy for others, right? And they have a facade of extreme confidence. So they come out as very confident. They're never going to show the weaker sides of themselves. Even if something is bothering them, you're not going to know it. because they're just going to gloat and boast about everything that they do that's good. Right? They're not going to focus the attention on you, because if they focus the attention on you, it takes attention away from them. Right? So if they say to you, well, if let's say for example, Tokyo, right here, Tokyo Toni, right? Let's say for example, Tokyo Toni was like, well, yeah, well, if it wasn't for me, my daughter wouldn't be where she's at. See, listen, I know all the people that she needed to know in order for her to be successful. Oh, please. I used to do things with the mayor, and I had picture with the president, and I've done this and everything, and everyone knows me. I remember when my daughter was getting married, and I just made one phone call and everything was taken care of. Like, that's the kind of connections I had. Those are the kind of people that I have in my circle, So I never want for anything because I know so many great people. And yeah, China did her thing. China was successful in her own right, but nothing in comparison to my life. Now I'm getting a little bit older, I step aside and let her do a little bit. But listen, I still have all my friends and connections. Last night, I was just at this party. It was invitation only. And listen, there was Puff Daddy there. There was Jay-Z, Beyonce was there, Rihanna was there. Listen, I'm used to being with the top of the top, you know? And I used to bring China around and introduce her to some people. But the friends that she has because of me. Listen, I remember about this time when I went to a party and I brought her with me. And let me tell you, just oh, do you know who Richard Simmons is? Oh, we go way back. Oh, Russell Simmons, yeah, we go way back. His wife and I, we used to go shopping together. All the, $5,000 bags, $20,000 bags, didn't matter. Like we had a good time. Yeah, we had a great time. Shane, I got, as a matter of fact, I need to call her today. That's how a narcissist would be. She's not going to focus all of her attention on her daughter in that conversation about the breakdown of their relationship and how her daughter did her wrong. She's not going to focus on that because it's going to make her feel weak. A narcissist is going to inflate everything about themselves, right? And the reason why they do this is because their esteem is really fragile. They have a real fragile self-esteem. And they're vulnerable to the slightest criticism. So the minute they hear anything that sounds like criticism, they're going to back it up with who they know and their power and their strength and their prestige and their money and their glamour and their fame and how everyone loves them. They're going to be showing you pictures. Oh, I cannot look at right here on my phone. I know Barack Obama right here on my phone. Right? Please, I got invited to. I just don't talk about it. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. Right? And of course, they too, like borderlines, can become extremely happy. They can become extremely sad, but they usually experience the happiness or the sadness when they don't receive the special favors or the special admiration or the special attention that they're looking for. Like that's when their esteem gets shot because they're not getting the type of attention that they want. Right? They also have a sense of entitlement. But here's the thing, they don't value other people's feelings or ideas, and they ignore the needs of other people. And the one thing you have to understand about narcissists, that these people are typically attractive people. They're very charismatic people. They're exciting people. They will suck you into all their charisma, all their attractiveness. They will suck you into their popularity. They will suck you into the people that they know of importance. They will suck you into all of that. Right? They will suck you right in. This is beyond what you saw with Tokyo Toni, a.k.a. Toxic Toni. This is beyond that. Now, does she have narcissistic traits? Absolutely. But I believe what we're dealing with right there was a borderline. And that's exactly how a borderline looks. What she even said, in the video, she said, and I remember, like, I used to beat their asses, and they were men, right? She talked about how she was strong, and she used to beat their asses, and they were men, and all this other crazy stuff, right? She's just bizarre. She's just bizarre, and I can't even tell you whether or not the story was true. I'm not saying it isn't. I couldn't even tell you whether the story was true. I can't tell, and this is what I'm talking about with these borderlines. You don't know if something is real or imagined. They over exaggerate things. And this is how this girl grew up. This is how Black China grew up with this lady as her mama. Right? Yes, Miss Melanie said they are exhausting to deal with. Listen, all of them are exhausting to deal with. Every last one of them are exhausting to deal with. But the truth is that they are a part of our community. And the truth is they are family members. And the truth is they need help. They need help. That's what the truth is. And so, yeah, I'm using Toni, a.k.a. Toxic Toni, case as a study, but I really do it like I do in this channel all the time, not just mental health Fridays, but all the time. I do it because we got to really start looking at ourselves, our upbringing, or the people in our family, or some of our friends. We got to start looking at this and start realizing when we are ignoring situations that are toxic, that can have damaging effects for generations to come, or if we are able to, because sometimes when you have these kind of disorders, you can't see yourself in it. If we are able to see how we need the help. So I'm really just trying to bring a conversation to topics that we don't have that often in our community, right? That's what Mental Health Fridays is about. And it's unfortunate that Tasha K even allowed this interview to go on for an hour. I watched the whole interview, right? It's unfortunate that it went on like that because I felt sorry for the lady. I felt bad for the lady, right? And there was no intervention, right? And I see that Tasha was trying to help her to see things, but somebody in this lady's condition, you can't help them to see that because they're never going to admit to stuff like that. Right? The people like that you have to cut off. They will kill you and still be living. Right? Somebody says, Dr. Shonna, is it true that narcissism is more of a personality type than a personality disorder? Well, narcissism are the traits of the disorder, right? I mean, many of us can have some traits of narcissism, every last one of us. But when it becomes a personality disorder is when it's interrupting many areas of our life on a daily basis. That's when it becomes a disorder. So narcissism is like a trait or a character, right? You have narcissism, a narcissist has these traits, but the disorder is something else. And that's what I be saying to people when everything in our community, oh, he's a narcissist. Oh, he's a narcissist. Oh, no, he probably has some narcissistic traits. But trust me when I say this, your ass ain't me the narcissist. Somebody who has NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. Trust me when I say that. You have met somebody with some traits. I think it's probably 3% of the population, if I'm not mistaken, has NPD. You may have met somebody with some traits, but you ain't come across somebody with a disorder. You wouldn't even stay in a relationship long enough with a person like that. I will hope not. Some of y'all do, but I will hope not. You, baby, if you met, okay, right? Somebody said, Doctor, do you think she also has histrionic? She could have histrionic personality disorder. And I didn't think about writing down the histrionic. I guess because I don't know too much. Well, she was a stripper, but just because she was a stripper doesn't she mean she's histrionic? That's that gray area right there, right? I don't know what her sex life is like because she was married to 4 men and married 5 times. Does that mean she's a histrionic? No, not necessarily. I don't know how she dresses. I don't know if she wears highly provocative clothing. I don't know if she does highly provocative things for attention, like sitting down with no panties on and opening her legs on purpose and sitting there so you can see it. That's what a histrionic personality disorder person would do, right? They would come into a thing with a short little dress with no panties on and open up their legs just so you can see it for attention. And I'm so, oh, I didn't know, right? So I don't know. I don't know enough of her to say that she's histrionic, but I goddamn sure will see some borderline in her, right? Definitely see some borderline. So yeah, what is that? All right, family. Listen, we are almost an hour and a half, so we're about 30 minutes over. People like Tasha K. Somebody's saying, Michelle Love is saying, people like Tasha K shouldn't take on interviews like that dealing with people who are sick. Well, I guess. Young Elder says, I'm learning tonight. Great. But listen, we all know somebody like that, right? Somebody says, I saw many Europeans do that panty thing. Let me tell you something. Even if y'all come across a histrionic personality disorder, but y'all don't know. Listen, we just be throwing phrases around. Oh, they're bipolar. Oh, they're borderline. Oh, they're narcissistic. Listen, baby, leave that to the professionals. All right, leave that to the professionals. Let me tell you something. If you was in my shoes and you working with the wrong person, working with a borderline, and they turn on you, because I told you real quick, they might bring your car down on 4 flats. You will come out of your office to go home, and your window will be bashed out, your tires will be punctured, and you don't even know why they did it, because they just hate you. Like you, I don't deal with personality disorders. I really don't. But listen, there go my brother from Newark. What's up, Umachu? Says Aquarius vibes. Aquarius and Sagittarius vibes. You know how we do. Ew. All right, guys. Good night. I love you all. Don't forget to go to my IG channel. That's where you want to be. Dr. Shonna on Instagram. Follow that channel. It's all about relationships. Have some great topics. I also do videos there. I do teachings and trainings there as well, but it's all about relationships. So come over to IG. Make sure I want to see those numbers go up, right? So go over to IG. Follow that page, engage, be involved. Thank you so much, guys, in this chat for keeping it nice and clean in the chat today. Thank you, guys, for being present in this chat today, being informed and listening to Mental Health Fridays, because I know this is not an easy topic for us to engage in, because many people don't want to hear about mental health, but we have to have this conversation. My takeaway that I want you guys to know is I know you're teasing Gorilla Glue Girl, a.k.a. Tessica Brown. Be easy on her. Be easy on her. Just look at the psychology behind it. Just look at it as a deeper psychological issue. And I know so many people don't want to deal with that, but that's what the truth is. If you have not seen the video, go back at the beginning and watch the video. That's what the truth is. Be a little bit easy on her. Yes, you won't put glue in your hair today, but I bet you when Dark and Lovely come out with a product and Dark and Lovely put a little bit of glue in it, y'all gonna buy that shit anyway and try to make your hair slick, because that's what y'all do. Not me, but y'all. But you know. Anyway, and Tokyo Toni. That's understanding what it looks like when you're raising children with the mental illness. When you're raising children, with an untreated mental illness, what it can look like. And Tokyo Toni is what it can look like. I'll see you guys all on Sunday as I address the black community with some more disrespectful community issues that we see going on. Speak to you guys soon. Have a blessed one. Be good.